Are you truly winning in life? Let's take a moment, just you and me, and be completely honest. Have you ever paused and asked yourself, am I really winning at life? I'm not talking about simply getting through the day or checking off items on your to-do list. I'm talking about truly winning, feeling alive, driven by purpose, and in full control of your destiny. Do you wake up with that sense of excitement, knowing you're on the right path? Or do you feel like you're stuck in a loop, going through the motions, yet deep down you know you're capable of so much more? Before we dive in, I want to take a second to ask for your support. If you're here right now, it means you're searching for something deeper, something that will help you level up in life. So do yourself a favor, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Because what I'm about to share with you could be the turning point that changes everything. Believe me, I understand because I've been there. We've all had those moments where it feels like life is slipping by, like our potential is slipping through our fingers, no matter how hard we try to grab hold of it. You may be working hard, but somehow it just doesn't feel like you're moving forward the way you should be. But here's a truth grounded in Stoic philosophy. There's no magic formula for success. It's not about luck, privilege, or being born with extraordinary talent. What Stoicism teaches us, and what I've learned, is that true success comes down to something much deeper. It's about our mindset, our inner drive, and how we respond to life's challenges. Stoics believe that while we cannot control external events, we can control how we interpret and respond to them. It's that shift, the shift in perspective, that makes all the difference, and the same principle applies here. The real difference between where you are now and where you want to be often comes down to a shift in momentum. You already have the tools inside you, and it's about tapping into them. I call it the winner effect. And trust me, once you understand how to harness it, your entire life can change. This isn't about making a few tweaks to your routine or forcing yourself to be more disciplined. It's about stepping into a new mindset, one where every win, no matter how small, pushes you toward your biggest goals. And if you've ever felt like you're not winning right now, know that you can turn that around. You can reignite your drive and start building the life you know you deserve. But it starts with a decision to embrace a winning mindset, to own every single victory, and to let those wins fuel your future. Now let's unlock that winner effect. Ready? Let's do this. The science behind winning and losing. Winning isn't just a moment. It's not about crossing the finish line once and celebrating for a day. Winning is a habit, a mindset that builds on itself. It's not the size of the victory that matters, but how each win, no matter how small, shifts something deep inside of you. When you feel like you're winning, when you know in your heart that you're on the right path, something changes. You become more confident, more resilient, and suddenly, the obstacles that once felt overwhelming seem like mere stepping stones. It's like an engine revving up inside you, pushing you forward with more power and focus. This isn't just a motivational cliche. This is science. Let me tell you a story to show you what I mean. Picture this. Two boxers, equal in skill, are about to enter the ring. One of them, let's call him Jake, has been on a winning streak lately. Every time he steps into the ring, he feels that surge of confidence. He's been here before and he knows what victory tastes like. The other boxer, let's call him David, has had a rough couple of matches. His last two fights didn't go as planned, and the doubt is creeping in. The bell rings and they start the fight. At first, it's neck and neck, but something begins to shift. Jake's confidence, built on his recent wins, fuels his endurance. He moves with purpose, conviction. Every punch he throws is backed by the belief that he's a winner. Meanwhile, David, though technically just as skilled, starts to falter. His doubt makes him hesitate, just for a split second. But it's enough. The loss lingers in his mind, and with each passing moment he starts to lose the mental battle. Jake wins, not because he's stronger or faster, but because he's riding the wave of his past victories. His brain has been wired to expect success, and that expectation fuels everything he does. This is what scientists refer to as the winner effect. The more you win, the more your brain and body respond in ways that make future success even more likely. Your confidence rises, your energy levels increase, and you approach challenges with a mindset that says, "I can do this." It's not about the size of the win, it's about the belief it instills in you. But the winner effect has an equally powerful counterpart. Let's call it the loser effect. When you lose, something different happens. Your brain starts to focus on the failure. It clings to that moment of defeat, replaying it over and over. The hesitation, the doubt, the fear of it happening again. All of that builds up inside. And instead of driving you forward, it holds you back. Each new challenge becomes a reminder of that past loss, and before you know it, you're caught in a downward spiral. It's not just athletes who experience this. We see it in every part of life. Entrepreneurs who've had a few successful ventures tend to keep building successful companies. Their wins attract investors, talented employees, and new opportunities. They walk into boardrooms with the swagger of someone who's used to winning, and that confidence is contagious. On the flip side, those who've faced a series of setbacks often find it hard to regain their footing. The fear of failure becomes so overwhelming that they start playing it safe, avoiding risks, and ultimately missing out on the very opportunities that could turn things around. The science behind winning and losing is clear. It's not just about skill or effort, it's about momentum. When you win, your brain releases chemicals like dopamine that make you feel good, motivated, and hungry for more. You start to crave that feeling of success, and it drives you to work harder, take bolder risks, and step into opportunities with a sense of purpose. But when you lose, especially if it happens repeatedly, the opposite happens. Your brain starts to associate effort with pain. You pull back, you play small. So how do you harness the winner effect in your own life? How do you make sure that even the smallest wins propel you forward, while protecting yourself from the downward pull of a loss? It starts with acknowledging the power of perception. Every win matters, no matter how small. Maybe you got up earlier today, or you pushed yourself to finish that task you've been putting off. These might seem like minor things, but they're victories. And the more you recognize and celebrate them, the more you'll start to feel like a winner. It's that feeling, that shift in mindset, that fuels bigger wins down the road. But there's another key. You can't let losses define you. When you fail, and you will, because failure is part of life, you have to reframe it. Don't see it as the end. See it as a lesson. What can you learn from this? How can this setback make you stronger for the next challenge? The truth is, the most successful people aren't the ones who have never failed. They're the ones who failed, learned, and kept moving forward. They understand that losing is temporary, but the lessons it teaches can last a lifetime. What winning and losing really does to you. Let's break this down in a way that hits home. When you win, even in the smallest way, something shifts inside of you. You feel that rush of energy, that boost in confidence, like suddenly you're capable of anything. It doesn't matter if it's landing a big deal or just finishing something you've been putting off. Winning, no matter how small, triggers something powerful. It tells you, you've got this. And that belief, it changes everything. You begin to approach challenges with more boldness, taking smarter risks, trusting your instincts. And here's the beauty of it. When you feel like a winner, you attract more success. It's like momentum starts to build, and suddenly you're in this upward spiral. Your wins compound, fueling your drive, lifting your spirit, making you unstoppable. But here's the hard truth. The exact opposite happens when you lose. It's not just about missing out on an opportunity or failing a project. It's deeper than that. Losing shakes you to your core. It plants seeds of doubt. You start questioning everything. Your abilities, your worth, your future. And that doubt? It spirals. One loss turns into 2, then 3. Before you know it, you're not just losing in the game of life. You're losing yourself. You hesitate when you should act. You retreat when you should push forward. Every failure feels heavier, and every step back makes the next step even harder. But let me be clear, I'm not saying this to discourage you. Quite the opposite. Because here's where the magic happens. The moment you realize you're in control of this cycle. Winning and losing aren't just things that happen to you. They're experiences you can learn from and shape. The winner effect is real, and it's not reserved for the lucky few. It's something you can cultivate, no matter where you are right now. The truth is, it's not about avoiding failure, because failure is inevitable. It's about how you respond to it. When you lose, you have a choice. You can either let it define you, dragging you further into that downward spiral, or you can stop, reflect, and use it as fuel. Every setback carries within it the seed of a comeback, if you're willing to see it that way. And that's what winners do. They don't avoid failure, they learn from it. They bounce back stronger because they know that every loss is just a stepping stone to the next win. Imagine what your life could look like if you adopted this mindset. If you started treating every win, no matter how small, as fuel for your future. And if, instead of letting failure crush you, you saw it as a necessary part of the process, you'd start to feel lighter, more in control, like your life was moving forward again. Every day, you'd be stacking wins, building that upward momentum, becoming the version of yourself that you've always known you could be. And that's what I want for you. I want you to take this power back, to stop letting losses hold you down, and start using them to propel you forward. So let's make a commitment right here, right now. Don't just listen to this, act on it. The next time you win, no matter how small, celebrate it. Let it remind you that you're capable of more. And when you stumble, because you will, take a breath, learn the lesson, and then keep moving forward. How to break free from the downward spiral. Here's the truth. You are never truly stuck. No matter how far down the spiral you feel, you have the power to turn it around. And it starts right now, with small, deliberate steps. The first thing you need to understand is this: momentum is everything. It's what keeps you going when things get tough, and it's what helps you push through even when you feel like giving up. But momentum doesn't just come from big, life-changing wins. It comes from the small victories, the ones we often overlook. So let's talk about those small wins. Did you get out of bed this morning, even though you felt like pulling the covers over your head and hiding from the world? That's a win. Did you send that tough email you've been putting off for days? Another win. Did you push through that workout even though your mind was screaming at you to quit? That is a win. And those small wins, they matter more than you think. Here's the thing. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a small win and a big win. It just knows that you succeeded. And every time you recognize and celebrate those tiny victories, you're building a foundation. Each one is a brick in the wall of your comeback. The more bricks you stack, the stronger your momentum becomes. You start to feel it. A shift, a spark of confidence, a reminder that you can do this. The upward spiral begins. But here's where most people get stuck. They see failure as the end. They let a loss define them. A failed project, a missed opportunity, a personal setback. Whatever it is, it feels like a weight dragging them down. But here's the truth you need to hold on to. Failure is not final. It's a moment. It's a chance to reset, to reflect, and most importantly, to grow. You have the power to reframe failure. Instead of seeing it as something that pulls you deeper into the spiral, see it for what it really is, an opportunity. Every loss holds a lesson. Every mistake is a teacher. And when you start to look at failure through that lens, it no longer has the same hold over you. It doesn't break you, it builds you. Some of the most successful people in the world are the ones who have failed the hardest. But they didn't let those failures define them. They let those failures fuel them. So what does that look like in real life? It's waking up after a rough day and deciding to move forward. It's taking that feeling of defeat and turning it into motivation to try again, to push harder, to grow stronger. It's realizing that every step backward is a setup for a bigger leap forward. When you break free from the downward spiral, your life changes in ways you can't even imagine. You start to feel lighter. The weight of failure isn't crushing you anymore. It's lifting you. You regain control of your narrative. And suddenly, you're not just surviving, you're thriving. Every small win becomes part of a larger victory. And every failure becomes a stepping stone toward the success you've always known you were capable of. The power of belief and visualization. Let's talk about one of the most underrated yet most powerful tools you have at your disposal: your mind. I know you've probably heard that 1,000 times before, and it might sound like another motivational cliche, but stay with me. This isn't just about positive thinking or wishful dreaming. I'm talking about belief, real, unshakable belief, and the power of visualization. These are the same strategies that top CEOs, Olympic athletes, and elite performers use every single day to build a mindset that makes them unstoppable. Here's the thing. Your brain doesn't know the difference between something you vividly imagine and something that actually happens. Read that again. When you truly see yourself succeeding, when you can feel it in your bones as if it's happening right now, your brain starts to believe it's possible. And when your brain believes it, your body follows. You begin to act in ways that make that vision your reality. Think about it. How many times have you visualized failure without even realizing it? Maybe before a big presentation you picture yourself stumbling over your words, feeling embarrassed. Or before a big game you imagine making a mistake and letting your team down. That's visualization too, just in the wrong direction. And guess what? The more you picture failure, the more your brain is wired to expect it. But here's the good news. You can change that. Start using your mind to work for you, not against you. Visualization is about creating a mental blueprint for success. Picture it right now, your next win. See it in vivid detail. What are you doing? What does the moment feel like? Who is around you? How does your success change things, not just for you, but for the people in your life? Feel the pride, the confidence, the relief that washes over you when everything comes together. That feeling isn't just imaginary, it's laying the groundwork for what's to come. When you visualize with that kind of clarity and intensity, your brain starts to make connections. It starts to build belief. And belief? It's the foundation of everything. Once you believe something is possible, you start showing up differently. You approach challenges with more confidence. You take risks you'd otherwise shy away from. You begin to behave like the person who already has what you're working toward. The power of belief isn't some abstract idea. It's real, and it's backed by science. Your mind shapes your reality, and when you combine belief with clear visualization, you're rewiring your brain to align with that vision. This is what successful people do. They see their victory long before it happens. They don't just hope things will work out. They know they will because they've already seen it in their mind. And that knowing fuels their actions. But let me be clear, visualization isn't about daydreaming. It's about taking your vision and turning it into action. It's not enough to see yourself winning. You have to believe you're capable of it, and then go out there and make it happen. The more you practice visualization, the more your brain and body will start to follow suit. You'll become more focused, more driven, and more resilient in the face of obstacles because, in your mind, you've already succeeded. So here's what I want you to do. Take a few minutes today, right now if you can, and visualize your next win. Don't just picture the outcome, but immerse yourself in the entire experience. Feel the emotions, hear the sounds, see the faces of the people around you. The more vividly you can imagine it, the more you'll start to believe it's within reach. And when you believe, you act. And when you act with that kind of conviction, nothing can stand in your way. How small wins create massive change. Here's where everything starts to shift. You might think that small wins are just that, small, insignificant in the grand scheme of things. But let me tell you, those tiny victories are the foundation of something much bigger. Each time you achieve even the smallest goal, your brain releases dopamine, that powerful little chemical that doesn't just make you feel good, It lights a fire inside you. It motivates you, gives you a sense of accomplishment, and here's the real kicker, it makes you want more. This is why winning, no matter how small, is so addictive. It's not just about that one victory, it's about the chain reaction that happens afterward. Now, imagine applying that to your everyday life. Imagine waking up every morning with the mindset that today is yours to win. But instead of chasing some huge, overwhelming goal that feels out of reach, you focus on the little things, the things that are within your control. Maybe it's committing to a quick workout, even if you only have 15 minutes. Maybe it's finally sending that email you've been avoiding. Or maybe it's as simple as making your bed, starting your day with intention, with one small accomplishment. What happens next is where the magic lies. Each small action, each tiny win creates a ripple effect. That workout, it boosts your energy. That email, it clears a mental block. Making your bed, it sets the tone for a productive day. One win leads to another, and before you know it, you're stacking them up, creating momentum. And that momentum? It's unstoppable. Suddenly, the tasks that once felt daunting don't seem so overwhelming. You're not just surviving the day, you're owning it. This is the true power of the winner effect in action. It's not about waiting for a big breakthrough or some life-altering success. It's about building victory, one small win at a time, and letting those wins carry you forward. The more you stack them, the more confident you become. And that confidence? It fuels everything. It gives you the courage to take on bigger challenges, to stretch yourself in ways you didn't think possible. You start believing in your own ability to succeed because you've already seen it in action, day after day. Think about how your life would change if you embraced this mindset. Instead of waking up overwhelmed by the weight of everything you haven't accomplished, you wake up with a plan. You commit to winning the day by focusing on what's in front of you, small, achievable goals that build momentum. And the best part? It's not just your productivity that improves. Your whole outlook shifts. You feel more in control, more alive, more you. You start seeing opportunities where before you only saw obstacles. This is how you turn the tide. It's not about grand gestures or monumental victories. It's about consistently showing up, celebrating those small wins, and letting them create massive change over time. You don't have to wait for success to find you. You build it day by day, step by step. So here's my challenge for you. Start today. Look at your day and find one small thing you can win at. Commit to it. Then tomorrow do the same. Stack those wins, let the momentum build, and watch how your life begins to shift. If you're ready to take that first step toward massive change, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share it with someone who needs this message. Because the life you want starts with the small wins you choose to create. Let's turn the tide together. So here we are. We've talked about the power of belief, the magic of small wins, and how each step you take can turn your life into an upward spiral of success. But now it's up to you. The path is laid out, but the real question is, what will you do next? Will you take that first step, stack your small wins, and let the momentum build? Or will you let this moment pass, stuck where you are? The decision is yours, and it starts today. Let's hear it. What's your next move? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let us know how you're going to start creating change. Don't wait for a perfect moment, because that moment is now. If this message spoke to you, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and share it with someone who needs that extra push. Together, we can build a community of unstoppable winners. Your journey begins now. Let's rise and win together.